Hello, trumpet players. I want to spend a little bit of time talking to you about, I think this is my third book. This is called 20 Studies. And, 20 Studies is like a really lame title in today's day and age, right? Because today, when I think about naming a book, I'm thinking about what is the SEO, search engine optimization. The name is very important now. You have to have some words in the name that tell you what is the book about. 20 Studies? Not such a good name, right? I should probably change it to something. Anyway, so the idea of the book. Now, okay, so this book has more of a story to it than any of my other books because it was originally etudes that I wrote for myself that I took to my lessons. And so, for example, I was having difficulty on the ballerina dance. This is back when I was still trying to be an orchestra trumpet player. And so I was doing Petrushka, and I was having difficulty with the breathing. And I thought to myself, what if I wrote an etude that was a whole page long that would force me to breathe more, more often? And so I wrote it out and I started practicing it, and sure enough, it fixed my breathing. See, what was happening is when I was practicing, I was calm and everything, and I would play through, and I could do the whole thing in one breath easily. But if you're nervous, you use up more air. And so when I was in the auditions, I couldn't make it in one breath because of the higher metabolism. And so I needed something to force me to start breathing, and this etude fixed that for me. There were other etudes as well, and so whatever my problem was on the excerpt, I wrote an etude to fix that. And I had about, I guess, 5 or 6 of them. And my teacher at the time, Dick Schaefer, he was second trumpet in the Houston Symphony. I studied with him, I think, for 2 years. And I really believe that I was ready to make an orchestra when I quit taking auditions. The reason I quit taking auditions was because of my ears. I've had a hearing loss since I was a child, and in my last audition, I went into the room and some reason the monitor went out. And I finished my audition, and the judges behind the screen said, "Moo, moo, 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 moo." I knew they were asking me to do something. I knew the rules said that I wasn't allowed to talk to them, but I couldn't hear a word they were saying. And it upset me so badly that I just turned around, walked out, got in the car, and drove back to Houston. It was a 2-day drive, and I had 2 days to think about, what am I doing? I'd never played in an orchestra. Now, I shouldn't say never, but almost every orchestra I've ever played in, the conductor had an accent. And between the accent and the distance, I thought, there's no way. I would always have to be nudging the guy next to me. What did he say? Where are we starting? What are we supposed to do now? So I got out of the orchestra thing, not because I wasn't good enough. I think I was good enough. But because I didn't think it was right for me with a hearing loss to put myself as a nuisance to everybody else in the orchestra. So I made a decision to get out of the orchestra thing. So, but the problem was that I had these etudes, and my teacher, Dick Schaefer, who was a champion of all my books, I think, it was Dick Schaefer championing my books that gave me the encouragement to keep doing more. He taught his students out of my books. In fact, today, there's one of the top trumpet players in Houston had some trouble. He called Dick Schaefer, even though Schaefer doesn't live here anymore. He called Dick Schaefer, and Schaefer says, "You need to get Eddie's books." And he's been a champion for me like that all along. And he said, "You need to finish this etude book." And it took me 2 years, but I finally did it. They are not all like the original Etudes. They're not all specifically for excerpts, working on the excerpts. And the reason for that is because I had already quit doing the orchestra stuff by that time. But there are 20 Etudes in here, and mostly based on, I would say 75% of it based on orchestral excerpts. And so that's what this book is about. And you know, I think in the 90s and the early part of the new millennium, people were buying this book a lot more than they are now. People liked it. And I think it just, like I was saying earlier about the SEO, the search engine optimization, who's going to look for a book called 20 Studies? And I think that's the biggest reason why this book doesn't sell, is because of the name. Now, the daily routine still sells, but I think that's by word of mouth. This book has kind of like dropped off. That's why we're doing these videos, by the way. We want to have videos for all the books and kind of help people know more about what's inside of them. So this book is, I think it's a nice book. It's some of my earliest finale work, so some of the spacing is a little bit weird. I'll show you some of that. Yeah, so like this, that's just a little bit weird. My current work doesn't look like that. But yeah, I think it's a good book. The Etudes are nice. If you practice Etudes and you want something a little bit different but not completely out of the orchestral realm, you might want to consider buying this one. There is also a story that goes with this. The last Etude goes up to the B above high C. And it's a chaconne. And I wrote this one creatively, and I really wrote it for myself because I wanted something that would connect that top register with the lowest register. So you see that it has notes below the staff, but it also has notes in the extreme upper register too. So maybe I'll tell that story another day since I'm kind of running out of time here. But yes, if you want the book, there might be a link down below. It depends on how long it takes me to do this. So if you're looking at the video right away, be patient. But we will have links below, and you can also go to my website. There's links at the website, eddielewis.com. All right? Well, thank you. God bless you, and we'll see you on the next video.